U.S. President Donald Trump on Friday was lukewarm to the idea of sending Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine.
They're a very powerful weapon, but they're a very dangerous weapon, and it could mean big, escalation. It could mean a lot of bad things can happen. Tomahawks are a big deal.
While Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky came to Washington looking for a military boost, when the pair spoke to reporters on Friday, Trump frequently brought up his upcoming summit with Russia's Vladimir Putin. That meeting came together quickly the day before, deflating Zelensky's pursuit of weapons.
I think that President Putin wants to end the war, or I wouldn't be talking this way. I think he wants to end the war. I spoke to him yesterday for 2.5 hours. We went through a lot of details. He wants to get it ended. I think that President Zelensky wants to get it ended. Now we have to get it done.
Zelensky later told reporters he didn't want to comment on the missiles and called the day's talks with Trump productive.
We trust the United States. We trust President that he wants to finish this war.
It's still unclear what Putin said to Trump that led him to agree to the meeting. A summit in August in Alaska ended early with little to show. Trump's upbeat tone after talking with Putin now has put a question mark over assisting Ukraine and sparked fears in the EU of a deal that favors Moscow. An EU spokesperson said it welcomed talks with Putin if they could help bring peace to Ukraine. Russia has made some territorial gains this year, but Ukraine's top military commander said Thursday that the Russian offensive had failed, while Putin said this month his forces had taken another 1% of Ukraine's territory, on top of the 20% it already holds. Both sides have ratcheted up attacks on each other's energy systems, and Russian jets have strayed into NATO territory.
So this is one of 9 World Food Programme bakeries that is now up and running. We want to get 30 open. They are now pumping out 300,000 pieces of bread every single day, and that's because we can now get the flour, the sugar, the yeast in, but also importantly, the fuel that actually motors these machines. And it just demonstrates that when a ceasefire holds, we can really quickly rebuild. We can get the food production working again. And this is going to head off the starvation that we've seen by opening up these bakeries, these kitchens, by pumping out food at this level. We want to get 1 million meals out there every day, and we're on track to do that. And this is an extraordinary moment as the humanitarian aid community comes back together to support Gazan people as they rebuild their lives.
Afghanistan and Pakistan said on Sunday they have agreed to an immediate ceasefire during talks in Doha. That's after a week of fierce border clashes, the worst violence between the South Asian neighbours since the Taliban seized power in Kabul in 2021. Pakistan's defence minister said on X the ceasefire, quote, has been finalised, and that both sides would meet again on October the 25th in Istanbul to discuss, quote, detailed matters. A Taliban spokesperson said in a statement the parties agreed on a complete and meaningful ceasefire. Afghanistan's defence chief was seen being welcomed to Doha ahead of Saturday's talks, with Qatar's foreign ministry acting as mediator along with Turkey. Pakistan and Afghanistan are seeking a way forward after the clashes killed dozens and wounded hundreds. The conflict was triggered after Islamabad demanded that Kabul rein in militants who had stepped up attacks in Pakistan, saying they operated from havens in Afghanistan. The Taliban denies giving havens to militants to attack Pakistan. It accuses the Pakistani military of spreading misinformation about Afghanistan and sheltering Islamic State-linked militants to undermine its stability and sovereignty. Islamabad denies the accusations. Militants have been waging a war for years against the Pakistani state in a bid to overthrow the government and replace it with their strict brand of Islamic governance. On Friday, a suicide attack near the border killed 7 Pakistani soldiers and wounded 13, security officials said. Reuters could not verify the data footage said to show the aftermath of the attack. The Taliban spokesperson said that at the Doha talks, quote, it was decided that neither country will take hostile action against the other.
Two Hong Kong airport security workers died after a Boeing 747 cargo plane skidded off the runway, hit their patrol car, and pushed it into the sea. That is according to the city's airport operator on Monday. The crash happened around 3:50 a.m. local time. The airport security staff were not breathing when rescued from the water. One was declared dead at the scene, and the other died later in hospital, according to Stephen Yu, the airport's executive director of operations. He added that authorities are investigating the cause, looking at weather, runway conditions, the aircraft, and the crew. Yu also said flights at Hong Kong's airport have not been affected. Emirates, the Dubai-based airline, said the crash at the world's busiest cargo airport involved an ACT Airlines plane operating on its behalf. There was no cargo on board. All 4 crew members of the plane escaped safely. This was Hong Kong's deadliest airport accident since the 1999 China Airlines crash that killed 3 people. Boeing did not immediately respond to a request for comment.
Huge crowds turned up on Saturday across all 50 US states and abroad to join No Kings protest rallies against President Donald Trump and his administration. Organizers said more than 2,600 rallies were planned in major cities, small towns and suburbs around the country. The aim was to challenge a Trump-led agenda that has reshaped the government and upended democratic norms with unprecedented speed since he took office in January. Many protesters spoke of worries about what they saw as the president's authoritarian tendencies, from the criminal prosecution of his perceived political enemies to the pressure put on the news media, law firms and universities.
He's punishing anybody who speaks up and speaks out against them. He's instilling fear.
My grandparents were immigrants who ran from Bolshevik Russia, Tsarist powers, and also Hitler's Germany. I know why they came here and risked their lives. And yes, I'm willing to stand up for the rights of others and to speak up when I can.
Another major concern for the protesters, the militarized immigration crackdown.
My biggest focus today is ICE. What they're doing is unconstitutional.
We're just like a bunch of people who are really sick of seeing our community members persecuted, zip-tied, kids zip-tied.
Saturday's rallies were boisterous but orderly, with police largely keeping a low profile. Many had a carnival-like atmosphere with demonstrators in costumes and holding colorful signs.
I'm out here supporting democracy in a joyful way because we love America and we're here to protect our democracy and to protest for those who can't come out to protest.
Everyone's getting along, even with the police. It's been very nice out today.
Similar rallies were held overseas on Saturday, from London and Berlin to Toronto and Mexico City.
European aerospace groups Leonardo, Airbus and Thales have reportedly reached a framework deal on a proposed merger of their satellite businesses. 2 sources familiar with the matter spoke to Reuters on Monday. One added that Leonardo is scheduled to hold an extraordinary board meeting on Tuesday to discuss the details. All 3 companies declined to comment. Europe's largest satellite makers have been in talks for more than a year to create a new satellite manufacturing company. They want to compete on a larger scale with rivals led by Elon Musk's SpaceX, which owns the highly successful Starlink service. Reuters reported last month that the 3 groups had redoubled efforts to combine their satellite businesses into a roughly $11.66 billion joint venture. Codenamed Project Bromo, insiders said talks had hit difficulties over the summer when the parties could not agree on governance and valuation. Analysts said the key remaining hurdle will be getting past a competition review by the European Commission.
Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
But the industry has seen a dramatic rise of Musk's Starlink network and a shift towards cheaper satellites, and that's raised pressure on Europe to combine assets or be pushed out of the market.
No, we never discussed it. We think that what they should do is just stop at the lines where they are, the battle lines. You have a battle line right now. The rest is very tough to negotiate. If you're going to say, you take this, we take that, there's so many different permutations. So what I say is they should stop right now at the battle lines. Go home, stop killing people, and be done.
What do you think should happen with the Donbass region then?
Let it be cut the way it is. It's cut up right now. I think 78% of the land is already taken by Russia. You leave it the way it is right now. They can negotiate something later on down the line. But I said, cut and stop at the battle line, go home, stop fighting, stop killing people.
Imagine impersonating Michael Jackson for 22 years. It's been the best. It's been my life, and representing a contingent like this, which is the largest in all of Mexico, imagine the emotion I feel.
Gucci owner Kering has agreed to sell its beauty business to L'Oreal for $4.6 billion. It's a major shift in strategy by new CEO Luca de Meo as he moves to tackle the luxury group's high debt and to refocus on its core fashion business. Under the deal, French beauty giant L'Oreal will acquire Kering's fragrance line Creed, as well as rights to develop fragrance and beauty products under Kering's fashion labels through a 50-year license. These include Gucci, Bottega Veneta and Balenciaga. The sale is a significant step towards reducing Kering's net debt. It stood at $11 billion at the end of June, on top of $7 billion in long-term lease liabilities, which concerned investors. It's also a major shift in direction by de Meo less than 2 months after taking charge. He's unwinding one of the biggest strategic pivots made by his predecessor, François-Henri Pinault, whose family controls the group. Kering set up its beauty business in 2023 after acquiring perfume maker Creed in an effort to diversify and reduce its reliance on its Gucci brand, which accounts for most of its profits. But the group has struggled to ramp up business, posting a $70 million operating loss for the first half of the year. The company's also battling declining growth at Gucci. It was hit hard by slowing demand in the key Chinese market.